Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is a very spiritual person. I've met her before, and when you see her, you will realize what I'm talking about. A calm personality that exudes calmness and exudes pleasure, happiness. Her name is Sukhy Mahal, and she's our woman in focus today. Welcome to our program. How are you doing?
Thank you, Sushma ji. Very well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Now that I've rekindled when we met first, that feels like as if...
A decade ago.
Yeah, almost a decade ago, yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Still going on with your, path?
Still going on with meditation, yes. More so now getting it out into the world.
Yes.
When we met, it was more about myself. Now it's more about the world.
Now, I always wonder, of course, in our religion and our spirituality, there are a few stages in one's life, right? And I've always been fascinated by that, brahmacharya, grihast, vanprasth, and sannyas. So a spiritual person or person who goes towards spirituality would come into vanprasth, which means after the age of 50, and then sannyas after the age of 75. And you've gotten into that stage way early in your life. How did that happen?
Sushma ji, I think divinely ordained is all I can say. I didn't plan it.
No.
I definitely didn't plan it. It's something that organically happened. Born and raised in England, spirituality wasn't even a big part of life. It was like, and parents weren't very religious either. So it was like, do life, have fun, this and that, the other. But in my 20s, the pull became so strong, I couldn't ignore it. There was just no way that this could not be part of, or I could not go back home. We are that, right?
Yeah.
But to go back home, I was pulled.
There must be a catalyst. There must be a moment that is etched in your mind as to when that bulb came up.
I would think it was a gradual bulb, like the dimmers you get.
I like the analogy. Okay, very slowly.
So in my mid-20s, actually, the pull became very strong. Not that I recognized it. My one of the family members, elders, because they can see, I think, experience is a big thing, and wisdom. And she would say to me, Sukhy, you can connect. You can really go the spiritual way. And at that time, she would want to go, she was in the 70s, Gurdwara Sahib Jana. She would want to go to the Gurdwara Sahib, and nobody would want to take her. All the family, no, we're busy. And I'm like, I will take you. And she said, just drop me off. I know you have kids and this and that. No, I'm like, I'll sit with you till the end. I just wanted to. And she says to me at the end, she goes, instead of me focusing on the prayers, I was focused on you. And I didn't know what that meant at that time. She goes, I just kept thinking, this girl can really go into spirituality on a deep level. And she goes, you should do that. I didn't know what that meant at that time. But so mid-20s. But it was like fostering the light, the dimmer was being turned on, and it just got brighter and brighter and brighter.
You mentioned that you would take this woman and she would say, you've got kids and all that. Were you married at that time?
Yes, I was married at that time. I was 18 when I got married, and so I had 2 children at that time in my mid-20s.
Wow. Wow. So living in England, or had you moved from there?
I moved from England at 18.
Okay, and then came
here
to Canada.
To Canada, yeah.
Yeah, and was the move jarring for you, or was it a natural sort of a move?
No, it wasn't natural. It was a culture shock, actually, to be candid. In England, we were the minority.
Yes.
Indians were the minority, or anybody of brown color was the minority, and Indian. So, it seemed a majority.
Yes.
Coming into Surrey especially.
Yeah.
And so that was a culture shock. The family I got married into was very much from the village. So first language was Punjabi, and in England, you know, being one of 5 siblings, we spoke English fluently,
Yes.
and my Punjabi wasn't the best. So it was an adjustment, to say the least.
Right. And did you feel out of sorts
Yeah.
when you first came here?
Yeah, I felt out of sorts in community, but you know, I thank God I was just naturally one of those people that can adjust to any environment.
Yeah.
So you know, happy-go-lucky, and like I actually I think became the novelty of everybody because they were very much from Punjab.
Yeah.
And I just said what I felt, and you know, I don't know. It was just much a.
It was your upbringing, I guess.
It was the upbringing, and
Now, as a child, out of both your parents, which one guided you the most?
You mean spiritually or
Otherwise.
life-wise?
Life-wise.
My parents were very hands-off.
Yeah.
They were very hands-off.
Oh, they were not helicopter parents.
They were not helicopter parents. In fact, you know, at the time that they came in the 60s to England, it was a very tough time
Yes.
financially, and when they immigrated, it was, you know, with pennies. Survival was very important.
So where were you in England?
In Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
Yeah, yeah. So for them, survival was important. So the double shifts.
Yes,
Working.
both of them working.
Both of them worked very
Right.
hard.
Yes.
So my older sister, you could say, raised us.
Ah.
And you know, when the older sibling becomes parent, they become helicopter parents.
And what number are you in the
Middle.
packing?
I'm middle, number 3.
Rebellious
Third
to
of
a
5.
certain extent.
I think, Shishmaji, you have to be to
Get something, right?
in hindsight, I think even on this path, to really break the barriers and the prejudice and the brainwashing that we've been, you know, you have to get married, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to fit into this cookie cutter of society, you have to be rebellious. And I was always rebellious.
Born like
I was
that.
like the tomboy of the family. My mom said like it was very hard to keep me contained. I would do what I want.
And then by that time, parents are so tired, they let you do whatever you want to
Jo
do.
marzi karo.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going to get into the spirituality aspect of your life, but your journey from England to Canada is also very interesting, because as a person who is just, and I'm using a metaphor, awakening, and then finding people around you and realizing who you are really within you must have been such an interesting journey for you. But let me take a short commercial break and come back. Sukhi ji is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Sukhi ji is our Woman in Focus today, and we're talking about you married at the age of 18,
18, yeah.
children by the time you're 20, looking after your family, plus, you know, being interested in people around you, especially this older woman. Was she a relative?
Yeah, she was actually my in-laws. She was actually my ex-husband's, now ex-husband's aunt.
Dadi. Oh, aunt.
Bua ji.
Ah.
And so she was quite influential in that seed planting, I would say.
Right. You know, I always feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, that people, especially the ones who can see through you, can give you sort of a mantra, you know, a saying. She said to you, you can get into this, because she had the power to see through you
Yeah.
and say, this person has got that capability. And how long did it take you from that point on to be who you are today?
So I was...
The dimmer.
The dimmer was tender. I think I was, you know, it's very foggy between 23 to 25 years of age. Shishma ji, I'm 29 now.
I'm 28.
So I'm 53 now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
from there to now. But after she said that, it wasn't like, you know, life
no,
changed
yeah,
or
no,
anything.
of course
Life
not.
kept going on. But there was always some kind of catalyst for me to go in, to go in, to go in. So that started happening early 20s, even though like two young children and that, it almost like it didn't matter. It didn't matter what external responsibilities, it was like quickly do this so I can do this. So I can go back into myself.
So you said come back home and you touched your heart. Explain that to me.
Shishmaji, we have made home like the dwelling, and everything around us, possessions and everything has become a reality, which is actually our illusion. When we break free of that illusion, the mind concepts and our perceptions, otherwise we're living perceptions, you know. When we break free from those barriers, we go inward. Home is here. Home is the heart. Home is inwards. It's not this external environment that we've made. Comfort to go into your dwelling, but can you imagine, we go home after a hard day's work, we're like, oh, I can be myself. Now take that many steps deeper, we go home into ourselves. I am myself.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
who
it.
am I wakes up from here. Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? So I was able to...
Who are you?
divinely guided. We are a soul having a
Yeah.
human experience.
Yeah.
We are God in action, actually,
Yeah.
Shishmaji. A lot of people find that very hard to digest, but we are God in action.
Well, you know, when we say namaste, we do say, I bow to the God
Absolutely.
within you.
Within you, yeah.
So you are a part of that Almighty. So whatever form you want to give yourself is up to you, right?
Yeah. So we are God veiled by form. We're veiled by this form. And so most people identify with the form and forget that we're God in action. So namaste is actually that, seeing beyond the form to go deeper.
Yes. And now your life has completely, I guess, changed 180 degrees?
180 degrees would go round back to the same point, right?
Okay, 90 degrees.
Hopefully 90, yeah.
Yes.
90 degrees, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
not the same person
No.
I was back then. Absolutely different. Even my family, my cousins, everybody's still in England.
Yes.
And now when they hear and see like the YouTube videos and etc., they're like, oh my God, is that the same person? Is that the same person? But yeah, complete change.
So your connection with other humans, one-on-one, and you mentioned that I want to, reach one person at a time or 100 at a time. How successful are you in that? Within yourself?
Within myself. So divinity has a way of, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And students are very ready now. I would say the world is ready for a real, true connection.
Why?
Because times have changed. COVID really was a catalyst, I
Right.
would say. People look at COVID as like this traumatic time, but I think it was divine. How many people had to go home? Literally had to go home, locked up. And in that, we were forced to look at ourselves and like, okay, if this world that we're running out to is not real, what is?
Right.
It was a big change in universal energy.
Yeah.
I think that really helped. Secondly, now look at the wars in the world. So half the world is struggling, and that energy is heavy on the planet. So like it or not, we're kind of like forced to look at, okay, like why are we here? Why are we here in this human experience? Who knows, in a second anything can change. Look at
course.
Ukraine and Russia, or Gaza and Israel, and recently Pakistan and India. Like in a second, life can change. These people didn't expect it. And so where we are looking at that and saying, it could happen anytime. And then what are we doing? What are we doing? And so I find that now people are ready. The student is ready, the teacher appears, and so now more people are asking.
Is it for mental and spiritual peace?
It is, yeah. So, Shishmaji, anxiety and depression is at the all-time high now.
Yes.
Stats say that 1 in 2 people will suffer from anxiety or depression. Suicide is the biggest epidemic right now. Imagine more than homicide. That is That is very sad.
That's scary.
Because, and why does a person get to there? Because of this world
Yeah.
that they have between the two ears.
Mm.
And so the camps, and that maybe was a very big catalyst for me to come out in the open and say, no, now it's time to step out, and one soul at a time or 1,000 souls at a time, if we can bring that peace, bring people back home. It's not like we're stirring and putting something in them.
No.
We're just removing all the barriers that are preventing them from experiencing themselves.
I want to get in deeper into that. Let's go home deeper into that. But let's take a short break and come back. Sukhy ji is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is Sukhy ji. We're going to go back home, and you've used that word a couple of times. So I understand you're doing some seminars here. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I call them spiritual boot camps. And why boot camps?
Boot camps, yes.
Yeah. Many people ask me, why did you pick boot camps? I don't think I picked boot camps. Divine gave me boot camps. And why do we do physical boot camps? It's like, a complete renewal of the body, strengthening of the body. So this is a spiritual boot camp.
Okay.
So it's a renewal and strengthening of the soul. And it's 8 days continuous.
Okay.
The next one here, we do them every 2 months. The next one here in Surrey is 22nd of June to 29th of June. 2 hours every day.
2 hours every day. What time?
The 2 Sundays that we have, 22 and 29, is 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And Monday to Saturday, through to Saturday, is 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Okay. Now, many people feel, I think, and then many people think, I think that you can go back home into your own self any time of the day. But the ideal time for many is early in the morning or late at night. What do you think?
I think, Shishmaji, any time, because all times are God's times.
Yeah.
And the more difficult we make it, the more dogma and rules we put around it, the more people are inclined to not go there.
Because it's structured.
It's too structured and too rigid, and it should not be. We are that, carrying a body, so why can't we go there anytime? But having said that, for some people, because the day is busy, like they have their work, they have their schedules, they have the kids, they have that. So early in the morning is the only time they can take out. And that's the time maybe their mind is clearer and quieter, and universal energy is quieter. The hustle and bustle of the day hasn't started. So it becomes easier for them to connect at that time. And I think for beginners, that might be an easier time because it's so quiet externally, and then internally we're quiet too. So the connection time becomes easier then. But our process is take 5 minutes whenever you can.
Now, what are people who might join you or would want to join you, what should they be expecting? Or what is their expectation? Or what is your expectation?
I don't have any expectation. Life has taught me not to expect. Let people come as they are. Come as you are.
Yeah.
With your curious self, with your skeptic self, with your baggage, if you have baggage, with your drama, trauma, commotion.
Everything.
Come with it.
Yeah.
Because the process is release, relearn, regrow. So we will release together.
Yeah.
And relearn and regrow.
And do you find people feel lighter after they've finished your course?
Absolutely. On the 8th day, we do have feedback, like people give feedback on their experience, and a lot of people walk away with this life-changing, a different way to look at life, a different way to live life, and truly knowing themselves.
So do they have to let go of partying, drinking, smoking, all those nice vices that people have?
Nice, you use nice. So, eventually purity prevails.
Yes.
what is purity, the soul? The soul doesn't need all that.
No.
So we start identifying with the soul, and we realize those are just things that actually keep our body heavier. You know, if we're living in a sattvic life, sattvic is purity. So we realize what is good for my body to connect and stay connected to myself, and what is not. Do we put that on people? No. This is not a religion. This is Rahe-Ishq. Our path is Rahe-Ishq, the lover's way to God. Devotion, coming out of commotion to devotion. So it's a lover's way to God. It's through the heart. And the end goal is evolve into oneness, which is what our movement is called, evolve into oneness with the Rahe-Ishq.
I always used to joke around about my name, Sushma. And I used to say when I'm past 75, I'll call myself Ma Sush. Have you gone to that part yet?
You know, my name has changed over time, not from me,
Yes.
but from people. And now some people do call me Guru Ma, but
Yeah.
I mean, whatever somebody resonates with, you can call me Sukhi, you can call me Sukhi ji. I'm sure people have different names too.
Yes.
And some people call me Guru Ma, and it's
How do you feel about that?
old.
And so old has a different connotation for you.
It does. So, you know, when I was younger and looked at older people, it's like, okay, something in me always told me wisdom comes with age.
Yes.
Funnily enough, I look back and that was innate knowledge in me. Now I absolutely agree. Wisdom with experience and age, we can look at life in a different way. Even though I'm not that old.
Yes.
But
I am.
yeah. So I mean, you would be able to speak to that. You're a very wise woman.
I'm going to keep that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good. It's good. And you know, funnily enough, that people started calling me that at the same time my daughter bought me this chain, and it says Mom. And so, global mom now.
Very nice.
I like it.
How do you feel? Good?
Yeah, I feel like I'm here to nurture and bring people back to their true self, cradle people back to their self, so that's what I'm doing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that is a very noble cause that you have. And I thank you for coming to our studios for that.
Thank you, Jishmaji. Thank you.
Sukhi ji has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.